Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Maniac Monday. Yes, folks, it's hard to believe the weekend is already over and it's the beginning of the week already. Speaking of, I hope all of you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you got to get out and enjoy the weather wherever you're at. Binge watch some movies or some series, all that fun stuff. And then I do hope on top of that that you guys are having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, because life really is too short as is. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing each and every one of you every Monday through Friday, permitting my schedule, and then, of course, holidays, which, in case if you guys noticed that last Friday I was unable to get a review up for you guys. Schedule just got away from me, and I just was unable to complete everything for you. So maybe I will definitely make up that title. I will review that title this week for you guys, just so you guys aren't missing anything out on what it was that I was originally planning on doing. Yes. And then also, what do I always say? Like, share, and subscribe. And then check out the description box for more information on the daily film, such as your brief synopsis, starring cast, director, runtime of the cut I'm watching, along with an MPAA rating, if there is one that exists. But let's face it, folks, most of the time I do not have one. It is a rarity for the movies and the films that I review or give you my silly little opinions on. It is definitely not something that is going to be on there very often. And then what else do I put on there? I put on some trivia, and if there's anything worthwhile of mentioning, which today definitely has some trivia. There was a little more stuff I found out and about, but these things were what I found most important or worthwhile of mentioning. And then I also put a link for either a trailer or a scene from the movie itself in there, which today I did find a trailer for you guys, so definitely check that out. I can't stress that enough to check out the stuff in the description box. Now that I got all that out of the way, let's get on to the film of the day. And yes, I would say this one is a film. This is masterfully done. This is a masterpiece. It is absolutely a stunning piece of work. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And it is none other than Rolf de Heer's Bad Boy Bubby, yes, starring Nicholas Hope, Claire Benito, Ralph Cotterill, and Carmel Johnson. Yes, this is fun. And this, by the way, folks, is the Blue Underground release. If you see here, it is the standard issue clear case blue release from Blue Underground. There's no reversible artwork, but as far as like cover artwork goes, but you do have this to look on the inside, a nice little index chapter selection here, and it is a standard issue pressed DVD, just to let you know. This one does also have a Blu-ray. It has a Blu-ray, both Blue Underground stateside release, and then it also had some other region releases. I did see a region-free Blu-ray from, I think it was Sweden or something like that. It was somewhere over in Europe, but it's definitely one that I highly recommend tracking down a copy. It is a little bit pricier than others, but it is worth every penny that you drop on this. I highly recommend it. Now, as far as special features go on the Blue Underground release, you have an interview with Rolf de Heer himself. You also have one with an interview with Nicholas Hope, which is very good. You get a short film in here called Confessor Caesar, or Confessor, Caresser. And then you also got a theatrical trailer, still gallery, and more. So there is some special features to go along here. I watched the interviews with both Nicholas Hope and director Rolf de Heer. I thought those were very interesting interviews, especially on the insight of both of them's insight on Bubby himself as the character, not just the film, but as the character himself. He is a very interesting character, many layers. I would say has some autism going on in there, or something of that nature, because he does a lot of what is scripting is what they would call it, scripting of things that were said and done to them before, so things that they think is perfectly okay to say or do, such as, he likes to call people horrible names, he hits people, he's bad to cats, he just does all this, he grabs women by their breasts, he just does all these demented, or not really demented, but depraved things that he was basically raised that it was okay, which he is a middle-aged man. I would say he's in his late 30s, mid to late 30s. He spent his entire life trapped in this dingy old squalid old apartment that is just absolutely just it's disgusting. And he spends it, his only real companion that he has is his mother, played by Claire Benito, which there's a very weird sick relationship between both of them. She makes him have sex with her. He beats, or she beats him, and does things like, "Don't you move. Jesus watches you. He'll tell me if you move, and if you do, I'll beat you brainless." Things like that, and that is also another thing he likes to script out and say is, "I'm going to beat you brainless." Things like that. The guy, it's very sick relationship between them, and she has him to the point to where he won't go outside because he thinks that it's the oxygen is poison, because she has trained him on the fact that it is. He's completely brainwashed to every single little aspect of what she wants out of Bubby, which eventually his dad, his pup, as he call me pup, son. His pup shows up, and there's a weird little sexual relationship obviously going on between Pop and Mom. Very sick in ways, because they're not intending to do it in front of Bubby, but they do. And then Pop will turn around and get mad and tell Bubby he's a pervert and this and that. When they're doing these things right there in front of him, they beat him as well. They throw him outside at one of the nights, and he freaks out completely. The only thing that I feel that helped soothe him and make him through the night was the fact that his mother threw the oxygen mask out there for him, because there's an oxygen mask that she keeps by the door to add extra impact, extra layer to the fact that it's poisonous outside, which in all actuality it was poisonous in how people are, but we're not going to get to that yet. Eventually Bubby, he learns about death by purposefully, accidentally killing his pet cat. That it was a feral cat, by the way, that they used for the scene, but they had a mean relationship towards each other. Like, Bubby would poke it with sticks, have it trapped in this little cage, hiss at it, and the cat would hiss at him and try to attack him. Things of that nature, things that cats would do if they were put in those kind of scenarios. But he ends up killing this cat. It almost reminds me of Lenny from Of Mice and Men in ways. He's kind of an idiot, but he means well. He finds out that death happens, so he eventually ends up killing his mom and pop. He strangles them to death in their sleep with cling wrap, and so he finds himself all alone, and he decides he's going to go venture out into the world. And he ventures out in there, and he meets some interesting characters. One of his very first nights he's out, he meets there's this group of Salvation Army singers outside collecting donations, doing the caroling thing. he meets them, and two or three of the women, I can't remember exactly, but he comes up and he gropes their breasts. The very final woman is like, yeah, but they eventually what happens is they go to a pizza parlor, and there he learns about how pizza is just this delicious, delicious delicacy. Which, by the way, the pizza that they showed them eating looked absolutely disgusting. It looked burned beyond recognition. But either way, Bubby really, really liked it, and it became one of his things. One of Bubby's staples is he really likes pizza. Uh, and then he ends up going home with this lady, and she tries to make him lick her chotch. She shaves him, then she ends up having sex with him. And during this weird, awkward sex scene, she's like singing to him. It's very, very, very like weird. The whole movie is a weird, trippy. There's no like crazy visuals or bizarre like lighting schemes going on in here. It's very straightforward, like a drama. It's more of a horrors of the human mind type film. It is solid. But she has sex with this dude. He ends up like out and about. There's a whole thing where he ends up with this little like local rock and roll band, and basically bring him up, put them under their supervision. They take him under their wing, and show him what it's like to be a roadie, show him what it's like to be in rock and roll in general, which eventually later on in the movie he becomes a rock and roll star himself eventually, because he's always being led to, like, there's music that is always grabbing a hold of his attention and is always like drawing him in, and it draws him in to the point to where he eventually, like I said, he becomes a rock and roll star, and he's up on stage and he just reenacts everything that has been said and done to him throughout the years, and people are actually liking what his performances and stuff, because he is, at this point, he has dropped the Bubby gimmick, and he has become not gimmick but persona, I would say, and he's now calls himself Pop, and he's dressed like how his dad was dressed. He had the little dressed like I forget, what is that, a priest or a father? I don't know. Either way, he's dressed like a man of the cloth, and he becomes this larger than life character. He at one point ends up in this home for people with cerebral palsy, which is a very, very sad scene, seeing those people, because it's very, I'm glad that they have long lives. It's just I get sad for them, one of those kind of ordeals, because of their disabilities. But either way, Bubby definitely has a lot of sympathy for these people, and he connects with one of them, and he's able to understand what she's saying and things like that. And then in the process, he's connecting with Angel, who is a nurse from the place, which has there's kind of a love interest between them, because at one point she's cleaning up Bubby. And he asks her, can he see her tits? Which then she eventually obliges, and it eventually leads up to the fact that they go to dinner at one night at her parents' house, and her parents are just these absolutely just cruel, just mean asshole people that make fun of her because she's overweight, and that they find fat people disgusting, and things like that. It's just a very just sick people, and that's what it shows. The main thing about these people is it shows how sick and twisted and how depraved we can treat each other. It is a heartbreaking movie. It almost makes you want to cry in places because he is treated so poorly, and it's hard seeing a human being treated like that. One of those kind of ordeals, especially somebody who has no idea what the hell's going on. He thinks that that's normal life. Now, as far as any kind of ratings would go with this thing on a technical side, this thing is an absolutely astonishing. Like they went through, they did some really cool camera techniques. They had like 30 some different directors of photography. I think it was like 32 to constantly give it a brand new feel and look to basically keep the freshness there for Bubby, because he is constantly seeing new and fresh things out there in the world, things that he never knew existed, things that only not even things that he could never even think of that exist. That's how I guess fish out. It's a fish out of water tale in a roundabout way, and if you really want to break it down to that, and it's got absolutely stunning acting. Nicholas Hope is just great from beginning to end. He is so believable in the role of Bubby. Um, it's yeah, and then you got they did a whole crazy cool thing with binaural sounds, because they put microphones in Nicholas Hope's ears, and they used that as a form of how the another form of how Bubby portrays or sees the world, because it also has a little distortion to his ears, so the sound feels like it's a little off, but it's supposed to be there. It's very, very soothing almost in ways. It's very, very just shot just stunningly as well. The editing works perfect, never gets dull. So I'm going to give this thing a 4 out of 5 on a technical side. This thing is a masterpiece. As far as entertaining goes, it is so freaking good. It does have a couple of spots where it does get a little boring, not too bad. It's only a couple of minutes here and there, so there's probably a total of maybe 5 to 10 minutes in this that I'm like, okay, whatever. But it is a hour and 54-minute movie, so that gives you an idea of how good it is in the long run of the movie itself, because it is a little bit longer than I like to run, but it never feels like it's a 2-hour movie. It feels like you're only watching it for an hour. That's how crazy it feels, and so much is going on so fast, so in such a short time. So I'm going to give this thing a 4 out of 5 on an entertainment side as well. So I'm going to say this is an 8 out of 10. This is a solid film. Excellent performances all the way around, from Bubby to his mom and pop. The band members are, they work perfectly. It's just, stunning. Bad Boy Bubby. Check it out, guys. I can't say anything bad about it. Tomorrow, I'm not 100% what I got lined up for you. I think I'm going to do that one I was supposed to do Friday. Either way, I am going to be doing that one sometime this week for you guys. And as always, I love your faces, and peace.